Bella Delinsky to the show ring. Bella Delinsky to the show ring. Your class is next.
Well, as we start the Market Goat Show, I think an interesting class here, and we got a little bit of everything, to be honest. I think a lot of different shapes and sizes, and trying to put together this class, I think, is difficult. But with that being said, you know, the one that we lead with here is easily the most shapely down his back. He's got the most hard muscle shape to him. He's got the most expression of muscle, the biggest pinned, I think, for his size there. He's one that, obviously, he's a little goat in this class, and that's fine, but his lines are good. He's got some lift up front. I like the stoutness feature up at the ground. If we could change him right there, that's where I'd like to fix him. The weather we got coming here in two, big and long-bodied, tall-fronted type of a weather. I think for me on this particular goat, for his size there, we've got to just have more shape right there over the top of his rib and right out of his shoulder blade. He's probably the narrowest and flattest in his upper rib of the top 3 or 4. Got to fix that about it because I think he's good everywhere else. We just got to make him better right there in terms of his muscularity there, working down his spine for sure. The goat that comes here in 3, I think this one's maybe a notch wider at the ground when he comes at you, just in terms of his chest floor width and dimension. He's big in his forearm there. You know, we prop him up there on the side, and I don't know if maybe he's quite as high quality there in terms of his look and his presence and his silhouette. Like to just kind of bring him down right there in the center of his back a little bit and bring him up in his tail head there, just a nickel more there on the side view, get him into that top pair. Long, good-looking one here coming to us in 4, and I think when we change this guy is when we get right behind him right there. Just kind of got to open him up in his pin set and his upper hip, crank him up in his tail head there just ever so slightly, and I think then we got a different kind of a goat because his front 1/3 is as good as anything in class. Just got to stouten him up and give him a little more horsepower right there from behind. Good kind of a goat there in 4. That man's got one here in 5. It comes out kind of a little moderate dude, really bulky, really chunky, big pin, big hip kind of a weather, just a little too coarse off both ends for me, a little too round. If we could change him up front there in his shoulder blade, give him a little more inner thigh there, when we get right behind him, I think maybe we could consider him in 4 hole. Congratulations, good class here to start. Let's put our hands together for these young people. Good job.
Congratulations to the winners of Class 2 Market Goats. In first, we have Emery Duff. Second, Gabby Zentner. Third, Paige Farley. Fourth, Lexi Berger. And fifth, Hagen Tippett. Just so you know, we want the top 3 back for our division final. Now entering the ring is Class 3 Market Goats. Aiden Middlemist and Oliver Stockdale to the show ring. Aiden Middlemist and Oliver Stockdale. Your class is on deck.
It's a fun little class here, and I think it sorts logically for me, I think, and there's some give and take in some of these, but I think pretty much there's some sort in all these goats here. And as we talk maybe a top pair or a top trio of them, I think, that come to the top end here, I think the painted top goat there that we start with, that thing just balances up so much better, and when we get in front of that weather, for me, he's just a little better structurally there, especially at his knee and at the ground there. He's more inside his skeleton when we get around in front of him. He's better in his top line, and not only on the side is he better in his top line, I think in motion he just stays truer right there out of his shoulder blade there through the middle part of his body comparative to that weather in second. If you want to pound him out and just muscle him up and power him up, there's no doubt this guy in the second hole can hold about 10 gallons of water down the middle of his back. This thing's big rib, big body, just super sculpted in terms of muscularity and shape, and he'll hit some judges for sure. For me though, up front, we got to bring him inside in terms of just his forearm and his outer knee right there, and just change him a little bit structurally up front. And I think that really deviates his top line too when we set him into motion right there. That's a top pair that I think, like I said, some give and take. I like them a little better structured, so we go with the paint goat on one. The goat that we've got here in three, I think this guy here has got some days ahead of him for sure. He's awfully raw and skinny right now, but his skeleton's true, his design's good, he's tall-shouldered, he's dead level down his top. Just got to see some more body condition on him, I think. Stouting his feature up at the ground there, just a nickel, but that thing's good looking and got some quality and some look to him without a doubt. The weather we've got coming here in four, I think maybe his best view is there on the 3/4 where you study his center body, his pin width from behind. I like that about him. When we spin around on the side view of this guy, he maybe just gets a little deeper through his chest floor, a little longer in that shoulder blade. Not quite as neat, I don't think, up through his front 1/3 for me. I think that's where we got to change him if we got to get him into that top three there. But a good goat nonetheless there on the 3/4. I like his body, I like his flank depth, his progression of rib through his center body there as well. And we round out the top five here with a goat that's got some elevation to him. He's got some look. I like his front end. I like his chest floor and his breastplate posture where it's at. For me, we just got to have more butt in that guy, I think, when we get right behind him there. Got to stouten him up to get him up any higher. Really good class here. Nice class to work through. Kids had some good projects. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations to the winners of our third class of Market Goats. In first place, we have Layla Deeds. Second, Katie Rowley. Third, Bella Delinsky. Fourth is Hunter Wilson. And fifth is Hattie Smith. We're gonna hold for a second while we wait for an exhibitor, and then we'll be rolling.
Hey folks, if you have a white pickup in the back here and a red car, you're in a VIP spot I'm trying to park a trailer in. Do you know anybody with a white Dodge pickup and a red Toyota, I think it's a Camry? If you could get that moved, I'd appreciate it.
It's his. Now entering the ring is Class 4 Market Goats.
Took a moment on those top three. To be honest, the top three I've had everywhere. Each one of them starting, each one of them going third, each one of them going second. Story goes on, but those three, they all have class advantages, I guess, is what I should say. And not there's just not one I don't think we can just hang our hat on. But for me, the one that we win here with, I guess, with him, he's an odd color down his top. And kind of makes him look a little dingy, a little dirty, if you will, or whatever, with those specs and those dark skin. And, but at the same time, this is a goat that his body shape is so unique for me, I think. And his chest floor elevation, his forearm shape, he's up off the ground. Hey, his height isn't perfect. I'd like to change his height a little bit, tighten that skin up, if you will. But his tail head's cranked up in him. His body shape's good. He's a three-quarter view type of a goat that's just bold in his center body. And like I said, his chest floor is where it needs to be. Big time handle in that goat there. Good place there, I think, to start that I'm comfortable with. The black-headed goat comes out in two. Good presentation on this guy right here, and talk about a great touch. This one touches really good. I think his freshness of skin and tone of skin is better than the class winner there. For me, I read this one as maybe coming in at his knee just a fraction up front, coming in at his hocks there from behind as well. I think we just kind of open him up there in his joints off both ends of his skeleton. And two, when we get him on the side there, he wants to brace so hard that he almost wants to look too moderate or too small for me and quick in his kind. I think when he relaxes a little bit and kind of doesn't go at full brace, he kind of gets up off the ground and gets his chest floor up at him, looks a little bit better. So there at times he was giving me views that I was like, man, it's got to go third or fourth. And then other times I was like, he needs to probably win. But and that's why I slowed him down on the walk, just to see where his underline was and his chest floor was. I still like to get him up off the ground there just a little bit more, but more importantly, those joints off both ends, I'd like to square up just a fraction more. Good looking goat here in three. And this is one I struggled with going forward, going up in class. I like the handle of this goat. I like his touch and his tone and his expression. He's fresh to the touch. To me, he's presented extremely, extremely good. I think for me, when he goes third, he's longer in his shoulder blade. His shoulders want to sit up a little higher on his body right there behind his neck, and he's not maybe quite as elevated through his tail head and his pin set there. He wants to rock them south just a nickel more. I think that's what we need to change about that goat. The goat coming in four here. I like his feature at the ground. I like his body shape, his swoop to his belly there, his pin width from behind. Just got to freshen his top shape power up there just a little bit more for me. Likewise with the 1 in 5, I think we've just got to give him just a little more fresh touch and tone there down his back to move him up. Good class. Great job up there in the top end especially. Good job to them.
Congratulations to the winners of Class 4 Market Goats. In first, we have Hayden Johnson. Second is Jacob McKesh. Third, Aiden Middlemist. 4, Quinn Duff. And in fifth, we have Presley Willis. Now entering the ring is our last class of Market Goats, Class 5. We will be taking the top 3 and bringing them back for our final drive, which will follow the conclusion of this class. So the top 3 will be coming back for the drive.
Nice class of goats here, and I tell you, I think all four of these maybe bring some class advantages forward here in this heavyweight class, and certainly impressed with all four that we've got. I think the painted up one that comes out and leads, I think for me, that's the athlete of the class. He's just athletic in his body shape, his chest floor elevation. I think his blade is a nickel shorter there than the goat there in second. Just a little more immature as you study his mug and his neck and his shoulder blade and how things kind of blend and tie together up through his front end there. Still quite a bit of touch and power there as we get over him. He's got some jump muscle in him, which makes him kind of, coupled with that paint there, kind of makes him look a little off in his loin edge, but I can assure you he's square and he's flat there going into his hip. Big mature goat coming here in two. That thing's got horsepower for days on him. Talk about one that's just really, really big-ended, big-backed one, big touch and big handle in that goat. He's getting a little more past 12 o'clock, I think, in my opinion, as you study his neck and his head, his shoulder blade up front. I'd like to maybe just kind of clean him up there in his breastplate, and again, the point of his shoulder there just ever so slightly up there comparative to that class winner. Good pair of them, though, there on top that I like 1 and 2. The weather we've got coming here in 3, this guy's interesting, and if we could change one thing on him, he would be really, really interesting, to be honest. This thing's body shape is just wild in my mind, just really opened up through the center part of his rib, and at the bottom of his rib cage there, he's just so elevated through his chest. I think though we get right behind him there and we study those rear wheels on him, we just got to square him up in his hocks, make him a bit better there off those rear legs. They come in too much for me to get him into that top pair. Nice presented one coming here in 4, and this is still a nice goat to bring some advantages, I think, to the class. For me, I like his elevation up front. I like his levelness at top. His tail head's where it needs to be. Muscle tone is okay. He's not maybe as dynamic in his shape and expression down his back as some of those right above him. I'd like to bring his center part of his body just up in him a little bit. He just gets a little deeper middled for me, I think, out here comparative in this class. I'd like to bring him up there to get him up any higher. Really good class here on the top end. We're a good class of 4 here is in your heavyweight class. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations to the winners of Class 5 Market Goats. In first, we have Macy Zerbach. Second, Lexi Amundsen. Third is Jesselyn. And in fourth, we have Michael Roselle. Now entering the ring is the champion drive for our Market Goat Show.
Those ringside, if you would, give these goat exhibitors a nice big round of applause for their efforts. Not a huge goat show, but boy, the top end really comes out here and sets themselves apart for sure. I think a good group of goats here. There's some subtle differences in them. You know, I don't know if they're all cookie cutter across the front row, maybe like the lamb show we had just a little bit ago. But I think they're the best out of each of those classes there. And like I said, there's some differences in these things and some give and take. You know, not to describe them all again, but you know, these goats, I like them just like my lambs, really. I like them athletic looking, muscular. They've got to have some look and be correct structurally there at the ground. Have those extra bells and whistles, doesn't hurt either, in terms of chest floor elevation, feature, some look, and some extension through their head and their neck. With that being said, I'm going to go through and look at them just one more time briefly. We'll name the top 5 here, and we'll keep rolling into the doe show. Congratulations to them one more time.
Congratulations to our Supreme Champion Market Goat, Macy Zerbach. Our Reserve Champion is Layla Deeds. In 3rd place, we have Hayden Johnson. Our 4th place is Lexi Amundsen. And rounding out is, in 5th, is Jacob McKesh. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 1, our Kootenai-born Doe division.
Well, as we move into the breeding doe show here, just a pair of them here in this class, and we're going to leave them lined up like they are. Young man's going to be one, young lady's going to be two here in this the county born class. And I like the pair here. There's some give and take in the two does. The one that we're using and the one I prefer here, just maybe a little bulkier, a little chunkier from behind, maybe a little more of a three-quarter look on that particular female there than the doe there in second. Ideally on that doe up front there, we could maybe just bring her back in her shoulder blade or just a nickel more and bring her up in her tail head, but that's being critical on one that's so bulky and wide through the center part of her body. The white doe coming here in second. I like her femininity, I like her quality and her look there, presence from the side. Maybe she just doesn't have quite as much bone and feature there at the ground, nor does she have quite as much power from behind there either as the doe there that we lead with. Good pair of them there to start our doe show with. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our Kootenai-born division. First is Matthew Green, and second is McKenna Knott. Now entering the ring, we have Class 2 of our Weather Dam Doe Show.
Nice class here to start the breeding, or in our second class of breeding does, and I think there's a pair of them here, and where the decision lies in 1 and 2. I think a pair of them that come forward that are highly presented, just really, really nice kind of females. The one that we lead off with, though, that one's got a wild look to her. I appreciate that one's chest floor, her body shape, her three-dimensional look, how elevated she is, and her top line is so level and correct, and when we set her in motion, she maintains that there as well. She wants to maybe roll her hock just ever so slightly there from behind and turn it in just a fraction more there, but I think that one's right behind the shoulder blade and chest floor is very, very different, and I like that one to start. The doe that we've got coming here in too, I like her boldness, the center, and her just how big-bodied she is. She's got a lot of sweep to her belly. She's really productive in that flank, that rear rib and flank. Again, she comes at you. She's extra wide through her chest floor, bordering on getting outside of herself, but she's still very comfortable, I think, or comfortable enough, I think, in terms of structure. She does get a little straighter there at her blade. Right behind her shoulder, I'd like to just strengthen her up there just a fraction more. She still puts together just an awfully good look. The doe that comes here in 3 is one that's maybe a little greener, I think. Those two that were in 1 and 2, maybe just had a little more body condition on them, a little fresher to the touch there as well. I like this one's silhouette and build quite a bit. I just don't think she's quite there yet and hit her stride. She just needs maybe a little bit more on her there to kind of fill her in and smooth her out of her blade right there into her middle rib. I don't know if she's as long-sided either. Likewise with the doe here in 4, this white-headed doe comes out, and she's really big pinned, big hip from behind. She's got a good touch to her. She's still kind of got some of that young goat down there in her hair that when we go in for that handle there. But I think even when she shucks that, she's got a ton of shape, muscle, and product underneath there. To me, she's just a little more conventional, a little more jammed up front, not quite as long and extended down her top line there as those that are right above her. The goat that we round out the top 5 with here, I like that one's elevation and look up front quite a bit. I think from there on back, though, that one just kind of flattens a little bit in her rib. She flattens in her upper hip, not quite as much power from behind, I don't think, for how big that particular doe is to get her up any higher there. We're going down the line and maybe some does that just need a little bit more look, a little bit more freshness and touch, I think, when we get our hands on them as well. But a really nice class from top to bottom. Let's congratulate these young people.
Congratulations to Class 2 of our Weather Dam Doe Show. In first place, we have Lexi Amundsen. Second, Gabby Zentner. Third, Michael Roselle. In fourth place is Quinn Duff. And in fifth place is Jesselyn. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, folks. Just a reminder that barbecue, we have that thing glowing. Food is ready. If you guys break away, you get done wrapped up here, and you can head up there. We got the DJ started. There's a dance going. The barbecue has started. There's food on the plate ready to go. Spread the word. Thank you, guys.
I think a challenging class here, but one that's got pretty deep water in it, I think. And as we get towards the top end here, you know, maybe the one we lead with, we could change there off those rear to just a little bit, open her up at her hocks there. But I think we could say that for about 5 out of the top 6 as well. So with that being said, this one right here just puts together too much of a look, too much of a presence to not use her there. She gets high in her chest. She progressively gets deeper through her mid-rib and flank there. And we'll get our hands on the back of that one. She's just spread open the widest, I think, from top to bottom there, for all the way from her rack to her tailhead. I think a nice place there to start with that female. The doe that comes here in second, a little less hair on that one, which I appreciate on that one for sure. She's got some shape to her. She's got some dimension through the center part of her body, through her hip there as well. I think she is maybe truer there off of her hock than the one that we lead with, but for me, maybe a shorter hipped one that just maybe wants to get a little straighter in her hock. You know, she's spread open wider through her hock, but she gets a little straighter there on the side view and on the profile view. We got to change that about her, I think, to get into that first hole. The doe that comes here in 3, I like this one as much as any when she came in terms of just her silhouette and her small neck. Sits really high there on her shoulder blade. She's level down her top line. She's level through her underline. For me, here's one that maybe just gets a little frailer at the ground. Again, one that just wants to come in at the ground there in terms of just her ankles and her hocks from behind. The doe that we have here in 4, a little white-headed doe comes at us, and this is one that's just maybe a little shorter bodied for me. Maybe just wants to roll out of her hip a little bit more than ideal as well. I like how wide she is, how three-dimensional she is. Again, we just changed her hip there, maybe lengthen her out just a little bit more there to get her into that top 3. And then we round out the top 5 here with just a productive kind of a female, one that's super wide and bold from behind and coming at you. Just a little rounder up front in her shoulder, wants to kind of roll off of her hip there just a little bit more than ideal as well. Get into some does over here. I think maybe just need a little bit more punch to them, just a little bit more handle and spread there down their top line. Congratulations to them. Good class here to work through.
Congratulations to our exhibitors from Class 3. In first place, we have Jessie Ledesma. In second is Bella Delinsky. Third is Jacob McKesh. In fourth, we have Lexi Berger. And in fifth, we have Rayleigh. Now entering the ring is Class 4, Weather Dam Does.
Five nice females here, and they line up good for me, I think. I think there's some sort in this class, and discuss the differences here. I think the highly fitted one here needs to win, and I think it's an easy win for me in this particular class. This one I think is just so bold through her center part of her body and flank, and yet she's still up through her chest floor. You know, we've talked on some of these goats a little bit today about getting a little wider and outside of themselves up front. I think she pushes the limits on that there, but yet she still stays in at her knee and her ankle. So I think things come together well enough up front, but I think that combination of femininity and chest floor elevation with some swoop to the rib and belly and still having that kind of three-dimensional look, I think really intrigues me here at the top end. You know, when she takes off there from behind, we can maybe just open her up in her hocks ever so slightly there, but we've talked about that quite a bit today in a lot of these females. The doe that comes to us here in second, I like that one again at the ground in terms of feature and just body dimension and pin width there from behind. You know, we could change that girl there. I'd like to see her just a little stronger in her top line, make her a little leveler right there over that paint mark right there in the center part of her back, make her just a little bit better looking there, but she's got a great cool look to her head and her chest up front. Like a lot of things about that one as well. The doe here in three, dead level, jet level down her top. I don't know if you can make one leveler down her top line there. I like that about her. Her neck comes up high on the top side of her shoulder. It's really unique, I think, in terms of just the goat world, just making one like that level and up out of their shoulder blade, like almost sheep-like in her look. For me, when I get my hands on that one, she's probably just one of the rawest ones of the top five, I think, in terms of just body condition and just handle and touch there to get her any higher. The doe here in four comes at us, and you want one that's just got a lot of body and a lot of rib and flank. You like that one about her. She's a meat and potatoes kind of a female here, I think. Just got a lot of things right going for her. She just doesn't have a wow factor to her out here in the show ring. I'd like to maybe level her out through her hip just a little bit, bring her center body up in her just a fraction more. She gets a little lower through her chest floor, through that center body there, but a good fundamental kind of a doe right there in four. And then five, we've got a doe here that's really long-bodied, extended up front. Again, maybe one that when we get right behind her, we just got to give her more horsepower there to get her up into that top four. Congratulations. Nice class here as we get into these heavier weight females.
Congratulations, Class 4. In first place, we have Bella Delinsky. Second is Rayleigh Fleischman. Third is Quinn Duff. 4, we have Cammie Williams. And in fifth place, Emily Henricks. Now entering the ring is Class 5 Weather Dam Does. Following the conclusion of this class, we will have our champion Weather Dam Doe selection. We will be bringing back the top 3 from every class, so be on deck.
Nice class here to end on, and it's a close call at the top end, but I think still the one that I really like in this particular drive we lead with, and just in terms of being built from the ground up, just being wide-based, wide between those hocks and wide coming and going, that's the one that I like. Yeah, when they're propped up on the stand, I'm not going to argue the paint does a nickel wider through the center part of her chest there when she comes right at you, just right there out of her sternum, but I think in true just body dimension, when they set into motion, I think the lead doe there, she's just truer there at her knee and her hock from behind. On top of that, I think she's the handle doe of the bunch too. She's the one that has the shape and the width up high. She's fresher over her loin edge there than the doe there in 2. The doe in 2 is a big, broody, stout one for sure. I like that about her. I like her substance and feature there at the ground. Here's a doe though that when we set her in motion, she wants to come in and her hocks there from behind, and then when we study her down her top line there, she's rawer over her loin edge, and yet she's got more body condition over the center part of her body. The doe in 3, same way, I think, as the one there in 2nd. I think that one's one that, you like in terms of that body depth and center body as well, and muscle from behind, but just gets a little too deep up through the center part of her neck, not quite as wide and pulled apart there through the center part of her hip and pin set there from behind. The doe that we've got here in 4, long-bodied, extended up front. I think as we handle these females, maybe just not as much spread and dimension through her upper hip and from behind, like to stouten her feature up there at the ground just a little bit there as well. Likewise with the doe here in 5, a doe that's big and extended, real feminine. I like that about her. She's got to have more punch there from behind, just a little more stoutness, a little more muscularity there when we get over the back of her. Good class there to end on. Excited to see the lineup. Good job.
Congratulations to Class 5 Weather Dam Does. Our class winner is Lexi Amundsen. In 2nd place, we have Michael Roselle. In 3rd place, we have Michael Roselle. 4th is Tyler Hole. And in 5th is Reagan Reedy. Now entering the ring is our Supreme Drive for our Weather Dam Does.
All right, we finally made it. Good set of does here, better set of kids. Let's give them a big round of applause here for hanging in there today and working till the end. Before we get to that, just want to say thank you to everybody here, to Brian, the whole crew, and everything for having me out to Idaho. I'm going to take off in the morning and get back home and do some, I guess, real world stuff when I get back home in the heat of Texas. But really enjoyed the time up here with my family and the people. Man, they've been great. You know, we've been here for a few days and really enjoyed our time here. Y'all got a great crew to work this show, and this show is top notch. That event last night and yesterday, I encourage y'all to get involved in that deal because that was something to see for sure. And just the way the things ran today, really smooth. All the volunteer guys and gals around the ring here, we were getting them in, we were getting them out. Just a lot of classes today to work through, and that's what takes the time, and that's a good thing because it makes a show out of the deal, and there's a lot of stock here. So really happy with what we've got here in the ring here to end on in the breeding does or the weather does. You know, there's some give and take in some of these females. There's some differences. You know, I select the kind I like, guys. That's all I do. I come out here and I find the ones. I don't check boxes or say I got to find a complete one or this one or that one. I just find the kind I like and the kind that are hard to make and hard to raise. And we've been breeding these things for several years too. And so I know how challenging it is to put one together and get it on the ground and then get it to a show ring and get it assembled right and looking the part. And so you guys have done a heck of a job today. I appreciate the help again in the ring. One more time, round of applause for all these kids. We're going to get you a top 5 here so you can get to dinner. Good job.
Congratulations to our Supreme Champion Weather Dam Doe, Bella Dolinsky. Congratulations to our Reserve Supreme Champion, Lexi Amundsen. In third, we have Jessie Ledesma. Fourth is Lexi Amundsen. And in fifth, Bella Dolinsky.